like, show
I
me
hate
when
highlights.
he has a post route and a go route overlapping. How does he manage
Yeah.
space between them, right? Like
Show
a
me when he
lot.
struggles.
Exactly. Show me when he struggles. Like a lot of the quiet reps, they tell you a lot about a player, right? So the volume is really important. And I think those plays get lost sometimes. We go for playmaking. Playmaking is important, but you need a lot of times you need soft skills to make plays, to be in a position to do that. So it's it's just one thing that I love about evaluation is that there's so much information to take in that does have meaning. So it's fun. Lions fan here. Same here, actually. I don't know if you were here at the start, but I grew up I live in Michigan. I grew up near East Lansing, so that 2008 Lions season was really rough. I remember I think I was 10 years old at that point, so I vaguely remember it, but wasn't fun. Wasn't fun. We've come a long way. Shamar Stewart, if he does make it to 28 and Brad picks him, Hutch teach him up, man, that would be one of the most talented edge duos in the league right there,
That'd be
man.
ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. And I think, Hutch, with the way that he was coming on before he got injured last year, I think he had 7.5 sacks. And
that dude was a freaking beast,
like,
man.
He was on pace to potentially challenge the sack record. I mean,
absolutely.
He was just out of this world. And I think
he was that good.
He was that good. He really was. And that was a lesson for me early as an evaluator. I really overthought his evaluation. I was thinking he plays a little tall sometimes. He doesn't have elite proportional length. But at the end of the day, he just knows how to win as a pass rusher. And I think he has the flexibility that you want at that size too, the explosiveness. So that was a lesson for me to not overthink it. If there's a guy that wins in a way that's translatable, even if it's not the most aesthetic sometimes, even if there aren't, some thresholds that are hit, you don't overthink that. You take that 10 times out of 10. But to Shamar Stewart, it would be a risk for the Lions for sure, because I don't think Shamar Stewart gives you high-end pass rush utility right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. I do think, and at the same time too, as a run defender, he has the build to be a really good run defender. Obviously 6'4", 280, over 34-inch arms, freak athlete, probably the most athletic ever to test at the edge position. But I think you look at what Shamar Stewart does in run defense, his gap discipline, his role responsibility can be kind of inconsistent. Sometimes he'll kind of sell out for the gap and try to make the play in the backfield and not hold up the edge, right? Not set the edge and keep a firm position. Yeah, he gambles for sure. And sometimes he loses. And then as a pass rusher, I think his upper lower synergy isn't quite there yet. Sometimes his feet and his hands don't move in sync to one another. He can play contain really well. And that's one thing that, I try to, I'm trying to take into account a little bit more now. Every time we watch a pass rushing rep, it's like, all right, is it a win or a loss? But sometimes, like if you're playing 5-tech head up, you don't have as much space to work with as an edge rusher. So if you can just contain, if you can just keep the QB in the pocket, drive the tackle back with your power, that can be a win in and of itself, because you funnel the QB into the interior where the other guys can scoop them up, right? So